Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another event video on Marvel Strike Force. Today, we're doing a little bit of a retrospective, I guess you could say. There's been a lot of complaints regarding the events, especially the Alliance milestone events is what I meant to say. We have Coordinated Assault or Alchemical Assault going on right now, and in the past we've had 3 every single month. So ISO 8 energies, Alliance War, and Cosmic Crucible, and I want to take a look at basically the last 3 months since they started implementing the Allied Orb fragments and I guess the Apocalypse Bounty Orb now, which is the Blue 5 Ion Orb. Take a look at how things have gone from back then to now and see how it is. Is it worse than it was before? Is it better than it was before? Before we get started with that, though, there is actually something that I want to point out, which appeared to me late this evening or last evening, was the login calendar that now we're getting for Alchemical Assault, Coordinate. I call it Coordinate Assault, honestly, and that's going to give you an additional 5,500 orb fragments across all of your Alliance members. So we're going to do an updated math of that, and then we're going to take a look at the comparisons that I was talking about. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Whoop, wasn't scrolled to the right spot. Okay, so do a little bit of an update here to Alchemical Assault. So we know it's a 5-day event. Basically, I have added in the additional 132,000 points that you're going to get from the login calendar. So this is 5,500 frags over 24 people, and that plus the daily free claim, which is 1,000 per day. That's 5,000 total per person, which gives you another 120,000. Add that in together with what's expected, I guess, of ISO 8 energy spending. This will vary. I'm assuming that people are doing this, but hey, some people might do less, some people might do more. And so this is going to give us roughly a total of 523,000, pretty much. And this is almost Milestone 17. I think it's Milestone 17. Let's double check that. Also, we're only getting 4 Blue 5 Ions and 0 Blue 4 and 5 Ions. This, I think, is a huge departure from previous events, and we'll take a look at that as well. So I want to go back into the milestone itself, because I kind of want to showcase this towards the bottom anyways, where we will get to. Yeah, so you're just going to be shy of Milestone 17. You're going to be like 25,000 shy. Now, you probably could make this if everyone in your alliance wants to ante up, a little bit more, or actually, core for this. I don't actually assume that people are coring ISO 8 energy. In fact, my math does not cover anything more than 1 reset, I think, or 1 refresh. So if you want to go a little bit more, because a lot of people are already doing right now having to core for campaign energy for the other main event, and so that's a lot of additional cores if you're then dipping into ISO 8 as well. But if you want the 100,000 Blue 4, which honestly for most people, especially most veterans, is not really a big deal anymore. You're not getting Blue 5s out of this, which is the next one down the line, and 5 of those orbs. You'd have to push pretty far to get that. So I'm not putting this in the reasonable kind of range, and that's a little bit unfortunate. So with regards to the Blue 5 Ion orbs, you're only getting 4 of these, and we'll take a look, especially from July, August, and this month of September, and how things have changed throughout the months. But yeah, they didn't. What I'm really irritated about this, and I have to say, is that they never tell us, when it comes to Allied Orb fragments or any events that requires earning them or collecting them or whatever, we're not told on the blog post how we get them. It's kind of assumed that it's going to be there on the free claim or sometimes in the Alliance donation box. This time it isn't, but on previous events it has been. And we're never actually legit told on the blog how we're going to obtain these. And that kind of pisses me off. So I'm hoping that one day that they'll actually have all of the correct information. There's a couple of events that really grind my gears when it comes to not having that information online. And one of them is this one, and the other one is actually the one we have right now. Right, the currency to energy ratio, or the energy to currency ratio when it comes to the event that we have right now in the main milestone event, because it's really hard, and, I apologize, and that's why I'll put up this every time I do a video, I guess, and that things are subject to change, because we don't really know what it is until they actually give us the information on things like this, the mystical energy. Was a bit shocked that it was 1 to 2. We do get 2 double points for spending it, so you can see it as maybe a 1 to 4 ratio. But nonetheless, it really pisses me off that we don't actually get this information on the blog post. I don't see why we couldn't, but clearly that tells me that they don't actually know half the time before the blog goes live. They don't know what's going to go on, when the event actually launches. But I digress. We're here to talk about the actual alliance-based events. I've heard so many complaints on Discord, on Reddit, in DMs, that people are just tired of having to have alliance-based events. Now, so luckily that whether or not you actually clear all of this and get the currency, at least for this month and last month anyways, it wasn't super important. The total amount of event currency was mild, and the amount of surplus that you got was a fair bit, which meant that you didn't really need to clear all these milestones. But I do understand that people don't have full alliances to be able to do this, and to push as much as you are, or, you know, the active player would. So it is a pain for some people. Let's take a look, though, at this. So I came up with this new chart. Of course I would, right? And we're going to start with Coordinated Assault. Now, the reason why I'm starting from July and not doing previous months is because they changed the structure a little bit, but July is also the first month where they started adding the Apocalypse Bounty and the Allied Supply Orb. So we'll talk a little bit more about that after this part here, because I want to kind of take a look at the contents, and some people may know, but we'll get to that later. So from the month of July, you can see here I have this separated from the free-to-play milestones. These are the reasonable expected milestone goals. These are what I post in my event videos, things like that. The max milestone, this is basically this is the last milestone in terms of like how high it gets. And then I have percent milestone done. And this is basically, you know, dividing this by that and how much of the milestone are we actually completing. And so in July, we actually got a pretty good portion of that. What that meant was that there was very few Whalestones left in July. But as we moved on into August and September, we didn't clear as much of the milestones. So from 83% to 60% to 55% this month. This is actually with the new numbers that I just updated with you earlier for September for Alchemical Assault. So yeah, it is the lowest amount of progression in September. Now, in terms of the rewards, in September, we changed from the Apocalypse Bounty Orb to the Blue 5 Orb, so where it's applicable, I had mentioned it here. But we got about 135,000 Blue 4 Ions in July, and 6 Apocalypse Bounty Orbs. Now, I'm not counting Allied Supply Orb Fragments because those are kind of variable. You know, they have a chance to drop the Apocalypse Bounty Orb Fragments and whatnot, but it was random, and so I'm only counting the actual Apocalypse Bounty Orbs here. And we know that those had a chance of Blue 4 and 5 Ions, and those had some pretty big jackpots of the 5 million score, or 5 million Blue 5 Ions, right? Like, we all saw the screenshots of some people who did it. 1.5 million was the highest that I ever got, but still, that helped me a lot too. Now in August, we got about 75,000 Blue 4 Ions, and now that was a little bit less than what we got in July. No Blue 5 Ions. You notice that there's really no Blue 5 Ions across the board, but that's why those orbs existed. So we did get a little bit more. We got 8 Apocalypse Bounty Orbs in August. Now in September here, the one we're doing right now, we're only expected to get 4 of these Blue 5 Ion Orbs. The difference is that I guess they're always going to drop Blue 5 Ions, whereas the other ones had a chance for Blue 4 and Blue 5 Ions. However, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later, the percentages are lower. So the chance to get the jackpot of the Blue 5 Ions is less than the Apocalypse Bounty. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I guess the upside is that you're not getting Blue 4s. Some people might still need them, and we'll talk about that maybe in a separate video. I don't know if we're going to have time to do all of that, but yeah. Blue 4 Ions for me is not a crunch. Blue 5 is more like, now that I have big Apocalypse, I'm kind of thinking of like, well, should I save them or should I use them? Is there going to be something else coming down the pipeline that I should be holding them onto? And that's what I'm afraid of, to be honest, is that there's going to be some future requirement. And so I'm not currently blowing them right now. I made this little chart, though, just for people who are visually inclined here. And you can kind of see the reduction over time in terms of the amount of milestone points that we're actually getting from the Coordinated Assault. Next up is the Alliance War events. They had different names, but you know, this is just like play war battles and things like that. Sometimes it's earn war credits, but for the last 3 months, it's been mostly play war battles. So you can see the maximum milestones. It varies a little bit. And actually, this one's not too bad. If you look at the percent milestone done, this month in September, we actually cleared a lot more than before, and we actually got more rewards as a result of it too. So this one has gold in it. You might not, maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but there's gold in the milestone, anywhere from 5 million, which was typical in July and August, and 7 million in September, because we pushed like an extra milestone, I believe. And we got actually more Apocalypse Bounty Orbs as things went on. So for whatever reason, this one was actually better than Coordinated Assault. You can see it in the graph here that I made, that actually things are going up. So that's good. Whether or not that stays the same in October, I have no idea. We'll wait and find out about that one. The Cosmic Crucible events. These ones are kind of a little bit of a roller coaster. It's been somewhat static. These are basically win Cosmic Crucible battles, but you get bonus points depending on the team. For July and August, it was the new Warriors, and for September, we got additional points for using Masters of Evil. You can see that the percent milestone done is in the 60-ish percent. It doesn't really change that much. In terms of the other rewards, there's not a lot of additional rewards outside of the Apocalypse Bounty. There's like character shards and maybe some elite credits and things like that. It wasn't like the other ones above where it was like ions and gold and things like that. So this one had 2 free-to-play Apocalypse Bounty orbs in July, 6 in August, and 4, but they were blue 5 ion orbs in September, not the Apocalypse Bounty orbs. So, yeah. I mean, which one's the worst? Obviously, it's the Coordinated Assault one that we have right now. And it feels weird because it feels like we were getting more orbs when they were the Apocalypse Bounty orb. And now that it's the blue 5 ion orb, we're actually getting less. So that's a little bit of a concern for me personally. You know, if we take a look at the orb itself, we also do have the new allied supply. Oh, let's open this one. Who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky. I hate that they're all gold pillars. Okay, I didn't even get the actual orb. I've been getting a lot of these red star orbs, which is kind of worthless at this point. Anyways, the Apocalypse Bounty Orb is still here for whatever reason, but if you were to compare both the Apocalypse Bounty Orb and the Blue 5 Ion Orb, the jackpot at the very top is actually lower. So to get the 5 million is 0.4. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but you know, it is a jackpot, right? So 20% of 4%, sorry, 20% of 2% is 0.4%. So you have a 0.4% chance of getting the jackpot here. Sorry, that was, I don't know why that was so hard for me. The other one here, if you were to actually calculate 25% of the jackpot here of 4%, 4.2%, you're actually, it's quite a bit more. It's closer to like 1% or so, 1.05% to get the jackpot on this. So yeah, things have changed quite a bit. But of course, in terms of the regular drop rates, there is actually not this one. It's this one. I think there were blue 4 ion drops, and you'd see quite a few drops of blue 4 ions, to be honest, because a lot of the times I did see blue 4 ions in the Apocalypse Bounty Orb. And really this comes down to, and something that I didn't calculate, and maybe this will be for another video, is what is our monthly blue 4 and 5 ion income really looking like? And it might be a little bit hard. You'd have to do an estimated value of the blue 5 ion orb probably to see how much of that you're getting and, you know, how many of those orbs we've been getting per month and other sources. But you know, there's not a lot of, I would say, goods. Where can I find the, I just want to get to my blue 4 and 5 ions numbers really quickly, because there's not a lot of ways to get certain ions anymore. Now that we have less leaderboards going on, there's actually, it's harder to get some of these things. So blue 5 ions, I actually think, in my opinion, and this is no, you know, math background at this point, it's just my gut feeling, is that we're getting less blue 5 ions per month because we're actually getting less leaderboards. And those leaderboard, as much as people hate them, it was actually a way for people to get blue 5 ions in the top, I don't know, like 4% or something like that, whatever it was. And so the only way that you're getting to blue 5 ions right now is that orb right here. And we get it, of course, in Alliance War. And you don't get it in Cosmic Crucible. Most of the times when it's in the Milestones, we're not going to get it, right? So really, it's like leaderboards, Alliance War, and this orb. Those are the 3 main ways to get blue 5 ions. And as far as blue 4 ions go, the main ways previously was the Apocalypse Bounty Orb, but it's not actually in the blue 5 ion orb. You get it in Cosmic Crucible, and I believe, I can't believe there's this many hidden offers for blue 4 ions. This is unreal. I didn't realize that there was this many of them. Holy crap. And it's like 130 Canadian dollars to 3 million. So Cosmic Crucible rewards is like your main one. They're in Alliance War, right? Like I thought they were. Yeah, I guess they are, but just not showing. Sometimes in the Milestones you can get them. I'm curious as to which one is actually showing me to get. Which Recruiting Mockingbird? Like, I don't even think I don't remember. Are we getting, okay, we're getting a little bit of this, like 50,000. I believe we're getting this one. So there's the 100,000 blue 5 ions. Okay, so there's a little bit. We're not getting anything more than this, though, right? With I think we affirmed that we're not getting much further than this. So the Milestones are hit and miss. Sometimes it depends on the blue 4 and 5 ion fronts. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like things have declined as far as the ions go. What I would like to see personally, is I would like to see the rewards for Cosmic Crucible buffed. I don't pay as much attention to this anymore as I used to. Now that, oh, hey, yeah, I got that. Yeah. So I did win my first round. And honestly, like, I don't care that much. I've somehow made it back up to Diamond. But yeah, you can see, like, I'm trying to spend my Cosmic Crucible credits. We need blue 5 ions in the rewards here. Now that I have 7-star Quicksilver, I care even less about my Cosmic Crucible. There's some blue 4 ions here, which is great. But there's no blue 5 ions. And that's kind of what I care about a little bit more now. And I don't know, maybe they need to update the stores as well. Completely different aside here at this point, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they don't revamp the rewards as... They don't pay attention to this as often that it needs to. And so that's just a feeling that I have, and just some things that I've been... Just some things I've been thinking about, everyone. So I'd love to hear some feedback from the community. Let me know how you're doing on your blue 4 and 5 ion situation. Let me know how you feel about the Coordinated Assault. I'm not going to call it Alchemical. I'm calling it Coordinated Assault. How are you feeling about that? Based on the numbers that you saw, are you surprised? What do you think is going to happen next month? So there's a couple of questions there. Feel free to answer whatever you want. Until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.